It's time to plus. Verb. It's time to dance. It's time to smile. It's time to donate. It's time to travel. It's time to forgive. It's time to forgive. It's time to recycle. It's time to wake up. It's time to meditate. It's time to exercise. It's time to apologize. It's time to volunteer. It's time to go to bed. It's time to fix a leak. It's time to buy a gift. It's time to take a nap. It's time to save money. It's time to go shopping. It's time to adopt a pet. It's time to read a book. It's time to cook dinner. It's time to hug someone. It's time to play a game. It's time to take a walk. It's time to join a club. It's time to join a club. It's time to start a blog. It's time to write a song. It's time to take a photo. It's time to take a break. It's time to bake cookies. It's time to write a poem. It's time to host a party. It's time to visit a park. It's time to plant flowers. It's time to learn to code. It's time to learn to draw. It's time to get a haircut. It's time to get a haircut. It's time to watch a movie. It's time to learn to cook. It's time to make a friend. It's time to clean the car. It's time to call a friend. It's time to learn to swim. It's time to take a shower. It's time to take a shower. It's time to tell the truth. It's time to write a letter. It's time to visit a museum. It's time to visit a friend. It's time to change the oil. It's time to take a day off. It's time to take a day off. It's time to try a new sport. It's time to start a new job. It's time to start a journal. It's time to support a cause. It's time to start a podcast. It's time to learn to juggle. It's time to learn to juggle. It's time to study for exams. It's time to create a budget. It's time to make a decision. It's time to clean your room. It's time to paint a picture. It's time to say, I'm sorry. It's time to say, I'm sorry. It's time to plan a vacation. It's time to host a barbecue. It's time to try a new hobby. It's time to plan a surprise. It's time to quit a bad habit. It's time to attend a concert. It's time to start a business. It's time to start a business. It's time to learn a language. It's time to take a road trip. It's time to water the plants. It's time to say, I love you. It's time to clean the garage. It's time to call your family. It's time to fix a broken door. It's time to clean the windows. It's time to fix a leaky faucet. It's time to upgrade your phone. It's time to learn self-defense. It's time to learn self-defense. It's time to learn a magic trick. It's time to learn to skateboard. It's time to mend a relationship. It's time to learn something new. It's time to learn a magic trick. It's time to try a new hairstyle. It's time to clean out the closet. It's time to clean out the closet. It's time to try a new restaurant. It's time to stop procrastinating. It's time to organize your closet. It's time to update your wardrobe. It's time to change your password. It's time to send a thank you note. It's time to volunteer at a shelter. It's time to fix a broken appliance. It's time to organize your workspace. It's time to adopt a healthy lifestyle. It's time to organize your digital files. It's time to learn to play an instrument. It's time to learn to play an instrument.